First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
It's been 4 days since a suspect opened fire at an Easter gathering Sunday night and hurt 3 people. Gainesville PD say they are looking for the person in this video they say pulled the trigger. Sunday's shooting is the latest violence that is contributing to what some city leaders say is an epidemic. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Alex Land.
And I'm Meteorologist. Today, the Gainesville City Commission addressed the shooting, sharing their thoughts on what can be done to curb the violence. WFT's Charlize Ramos is live at McPherson Park to the scene of Sunday's shooting. Charlize, she watched today's commission meeting and heard a reaction from community members.
That's right, Alex and Emilio. I'm standing right where 3 people were shot on Easter Sunday. You can even see on the sidewalk behind me bloodstains that were left behind. The shooting sparked a conversation in Gainesville about gun violence, especially after the FSU shooting happened just a week ago. One of those conversations took place today at City Hall.
Guns are out of control. We don't know what happened, but it happened in our city, and it has to stop.
Vanessa Henry is just one of the many people speaking out after the shooting that happened on Easter Sunday, demanding change.
It's the massive gathering outside that we can't control, and it has to stop.
City leaders are responding by offering support to those impacted and say they are continuing to address gun violence in our community. 3 people were shot outside the park, with 1 person facing life-threatening injuries. In a statement, Gainesville's gun violence prevention manager, Brittany Coleman, says the event underscores how important it is to address the trauma people experienced that night. City commissioners understand that police tried to keep the event safe.
As it got closer to the time for it to end, the organizers were asking for an extension, and the extension was denied by the police department. But at that time, I think the crowd was bigger than they could manage.
At this time, GPD has still not caught the gun. This is just one of the 2 shootings that happened in our area on Easter Sunday, with the other one being in Lake City. Those at the commission meeting today made it clear that this is not the end of their advocacy. Reporting live from First Missionary Baptist Church, Charlize Ramos, WUFT News.
We're also learning more about the second Easter night shooting in our area. This one happened in Lake City where an officer was shot. Now police are asking neighbors to help identify a potential suspect. Earlier today, the Lake City Police Department released this video of the person they need help identifying. Just after 8 Sunday night, police say they were providing crowd control at a community Easter celebration at the Annie Maddox Recreation Center. They say several people began shooting and one of the officers was hit. If we recognize the person or know anything about the shooting, you're asked to call the Lake City Police Department.
We're learning more about the student accused of carrying out the deadly mass shooting at Florida State University. 1 week ago today, police say 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner shot and killed 2 people and hurt 6 others when he opened fire on campus. On Wednesday, investigators say he remains hospitalized with significant injuries. They say he was shot once in the jaw after refusing to comply with the officer's commands. There is no clear timeline for Eichner's discharge from the hospital. However, he will be formally charged upon release.
It's been a very warm week, but also quite dry. In all of April, less than a half an inch of rain has fallen in Gainesville. WFT's meteorologist William Maxham joins us on how he says the drought is increasing across north central Florida.
Yeah, Emilio, the new drought monitor came out today, and now we have a corner of Marion County in extreme drought. This includes the villages north of there. Ocala is now in a severe drought, and Gainesville has been upgraded to just abnormally dry. It has been a very dry month of April, as you mentioned. Half an inch of rain has fallen for the entire month. Not much is coming over the next few. We're into the 80s right now, 86 Gainesville, 87 in Ocala. The skies looking mainly sunny. We do see the blue in between the clouds. Temperatures 85 on campus, winds out of the east. There is not much potential for rain in our area today. This all going to stay north of us, but showers will be returning to the forecast over the weekend. I'll track our weekend rain chances and the return of higher heat coming up in a few minutes.
A Florida teen is facing an attempted murder charge after police say he poisoned his adopted mother's milk with bleach. WFT's Nicole Scura is live in the studio with the 911 call.
This is not the kind of call Volusia County Sheriff's Office expected to get this weekend. Deputies arrested a 17-year-old boy in Deltona for attempting to poison his mother's gallon of milk with bleach. The 77-year-old victim told deputies she poured a glass of milk from a gallon container in the refrigerator, took a sip, and had an intense chemical reaction. Investigators say the teen told them that he was aware bleach could hurt someone and had intended for the bleach to make his mother sick. The woman's other son is the one who called 911.
We have a 17-year-old here who put Clorox in our milk, attempting to poison our mother.
Deputies say the mom did not report any immediate symptoms, but wanted to get checked out. As for the teen, he is now not living at the home and facing felony charges, including attempted murder and abuse of an elderly person. Police say the teen was taken to a family resource center that is aimed at helping troubled youth. Live in the studio, Nicole Scura, WUFT News.
A first-of-its-kind construction project is underway in Florida. The state is building its first wildlife crossing over Interstate 4. As Stacey DeSilva reports, it's meant to connect wildlife north and south of the busy highway.
It'll be the first dedicated wildlife crossing overpass in the state of Florida.
This is something Brent Setchell with the Florida Department of Transportation is passionate about. Florida's wildlife and its ability to connect.
You never like to see roadkill, so that's one reason why. Obviously, driver safety is another big, benefit of wildlife crossings.
Construction has just begun to build an $18 million wildlife crossing over I-4, about a mile east of State Road 33, linking the Saddle Creek and Peace River areas with the Green Swamp. It will be 44 feet wide with vegetation and noise barriers.
We've documented wildlife in the area out there. There's deer on the north side, and then we've had bobcats and coyotes in the area. So we think within no time wildlife will start utilizing the crossing.
Setchell says since it opened last year, thousands of animals have used a wildlife crossing in another area under I-4.
This project is fantastic.
Jason Lauritsen is Chief Conservation Officer for the Florida Wildlife Corridor Foundation. He says I-4 is one of the most fragmenting roads in Florida for wildlife.
It's divided the state into two halves, and there are not very many places that wildlife can get across.
The mission of the Wildlife Corridor is to connect wildlife from Georgia and Alabama to the Florida Keys.
It really represents our best chance to preserve the wonderful wild places and biodiversity that Floridians have been stewarding for centuries.
That was Stacey DeSilva reporting. The project is set to be completed by 2027.
Levy County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help solving car burglaries. Victims say cash, valuables, and guns were stolen from the cars Wednesday morning. If you have any information or can identify the suspect on your screen, call Detective Killian at 352-486-5111 or submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. You may receive a cash reward.
Also happening in Levy County, the Sheriff's Office is warning neighbors not to fall for a phone scam. In a Facebook post, the Sheriff's Office says if an Officer Landis calls you about a missed court appearance, do not pay. They say the Sheriff's Office does not have an Officer Landis. Alachua County schools are getting early release Wednesdays back. Starting Wednesday, all elementary schools in the county will end early. This change comes after Alachua County teachers settled salary negotiations. You can contact your child's school for specific dismissal times. Early release Wednesdays will also happen next school year. After the break, when First at 5 returns, mourners fill the church to pay their final respects to Pope Francis.
The preparations are underway for his final resting place and the gathering of cardinals to select a new Roman Catholic leader.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Mourners by the thousands are paying their respects to Pope Francis. This is a live look at St. Peter's Basilica, which stayed open overnight as crowds funneled through to say their final goodbyes. The Vatican is preparing to hold Pope Francis' funeral Saturday.
As Alice Barr reports, cardinals, who will choose the next pope, are also arriving at the Vatican, but offering few hints of who could be the next leader of the world's Roman Catholics.
Outside St. Peter's Basilica, the long wait for a brief goodbye to Pope Francis.
I think it's very important to be here, just show our respect to the Holy Father.
Mourners by the tens of thousands lining up for hours.
There's an Indian priest behind me, there are Italians next to me, so just to live this special moment together with the whole church.
To pray by the simple wooden casket lying in state in this holy place.
Walking in there, it was so silent, but you could feel how much people really cared about him.
Pope Francis made it his mission to be close to the people, especially in times of need. Ariana Mihailovich met him when her late husband, soccer star Sinitsa Mihailovich, was gravely ill.
Papa Francesco ci diede molto coraggio.
She says Pope Francis gave them courage, that he was sensitive, gentle, and funny, calling her husband a saint for bringing along his mother-in-law.
Gli disse certo di essere proprio un santo.
Now, as the Vatican prepares for a papal funeral with world leaders, including President Trump, flying in, security is ramping up in the ancient Vatican City, where cardinals will soon begin their secretive conclave to choose the next pope.
Giving this beautiful reverence of yesterday,
we spoke with Cardinal Christophe Pierre, the Vatican's diplomatic envoy to the U.S., who called Pope Francis a beautiful person, and this a profound moment for the Church and its future, as many hope the successor will continue Pope Francis's path.
And we want Pope Francis II now.
A vision for the Church guided by inclusion, service, and humility that grounded Pope Francis with the people who loved him. In Rome, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Drought has increased over the state of Florida, but our rain chances are going to be going up over the weekend. Your forecast is next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back to First at 5. William, the saying says April showers bring May flowers, but we have not been seeing too many April showers here in our area.
Not a lot. It's been about less than a half an inch of rain falling across Gainesville in the past month, and that's not very much. That's about a fourth of what we see in an average year. And there is not a lot of rain in the near future, but there is some coming our way at the end of the weekend. Probably not today, though. We're looking dry. Temperatures 86. Gainesville 87 in Ocala and about 83 in Palatka. We're seeing some of that blue sky in between the clouds, winds out of the east today, and we thought there would be a tiny chance of a pop-up shower today, but that doesn't look to be happening. Our forecast looks dry through the evening. Temperatures will eventually cool into the 60s late tonight with some fog likely developing into the early part of the day. Mentioned that 20% probably not going to happen because radar completely quiet right now. No storms are firing up, but we have seen quite a bit of rain across the deep south over the past week. Just none of it happening in Florida, and really the entire state has seen worsening drought with the latest update. We now have a large portion of South Florida in extreme drought, and a new area of extreme drought has popped up in central Florida, and that does include the southeastern part of Marion County, where we have extreme drought. Further north, severe drought reported in the Ocala area. Northward, we have dry conditions. This is a big jump from where we were just a week ago, where we only had, we had much less in the way of drought, and much of the state actually in no drought categories just a week ago. Rain has been to our north, and again, we're seeing these afternoon thunderstorms popping up there. That's where they'll stay the next couple of days. The heat of the day will bring those air mass thunderstorms our way, but rainfall over the weekend coming on Sunday and into Monday, and we're talking about very little rainfall. A front is going to move in, and we're going to see probably about 1/4 of an inch or less across the entire area. That's barely enough to just cover the ground. So we're talking drought is likely to intensify into next week because these showers moving in on Sunday into Monday, really the only source of rain we're expecting over the next 7 days. So the weekend forecast looking very hot. Temperatures right around 90 degrees Saturday. A few showers popping up on Sunday, but those chances not especially great. A little bit more likely we'll see a storm on Monday, but the heat cranks right back up and the dry conditions resume. Highs will be in the low to mid 90s as we get into the middle of the week.
Florida fans got their first taste of next season's football squad 2 weeks ago at the Orange and Blue game. But 18 Gators' first taste of the league starts tonight. The NFL draft begins at 8 p.m. in Green Bay. After the break, we'll talk Gator prospects and how this year makes history. Stay with us. Sports is next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
When thinking of college sports anchors, I'm glad I'm your first round pick. I'm Shelby Hotz. Let's talk sports. The 2025 NFL Draft kicks off at 8 p.m. tonight. Here's how the Gators stack up. At least one Gator has gone in the first round every year since 2019, but many predictions don't have a Gator in their sights until round 4. 18 Gators try their luck in the league tonight, 9 of which went to Pro Day. If you want to see your team snag a Gator, the Jags boast the 5th overall pick, followed by the Dolphins at 13th and the Bucs at 19th. The draft starts tonight and runs through Saturday. Keeping it on the gridiron, flag football is on the rise throughout Gainesville, and the Buchholz Bobcats sit at the top of the competition. WUFT's Hannah Mack has more.
After winning only 5 games in their inaugural season, the Buchholz flag football team has turned a corner in 2025, more than doubling their win total and finishing at 11-1 when the regular season ended. While it may be smooth sailing now, head coach Scott Jamison says the team has had to adapt to his old-school coaching style.
I think initially they had probably an issue with Mr. Jamison because I'm an old schooler, and I expect certain things, and I really don't tolerate a lot. They've adapted.
Hey, Isabella, we get the ball at the half.
Respect for their coach and respect for the game fuels the team's camaraderie. Winning also helps. Just ask Captain Danae Chappelle. She says this team is incredibly close on and off the field.
Every weekend, we plan, we hang out, and we just team bonding and stuff. That's why we're really close, and I love this team so much.
While it is not a new sport, flag football is quickly increasing in popularity amongst high school girls. Coach Jamison believes this is just the beginning.
This is like a no-brainer. You're providing a sport for girls. It doesn't cost you. It teaches all the fundamentals that competitive sports do. So I think we're seeing the tip of the iceberg. I think this thing is going to take off.
Despite a great regular season run, the Bobcats will have to wait to celebrate a district title. They were knocked out in the second round of the playoffs. But as the saying goes, losing builds character. And for Buchholz, they now have added motivation for next season.
Go Bobcats!
For WUFT Sports, I'm Hannah Mack.
The flag football team isn't the only Bobcat squad making waves. The first-seeded Buchholz baseball team took the 8th-seeded First Coast back to school last night with back-to-back wins in the FHSAA District Regional Quarterfinal. Buchholz sparkled this season with a staggering 28-1 record, asserting their dominant position in the 6A district. In last night's games against First Coast, Buchholz allowed only 3 runs, sliding into decisive 5-1 and 9-2 W's. The Bobcats go to the bat in the semifinals next Wednesday, opposite the winner of 4th-seeded Tate and 5th-seeded Fletcher. Still on the diamond, Gators softball put the second L in bowls last night as the Orange and Blue secured their second win over USF this season. The number 8 Gators ended the night in run rule fashion, charging to a 9-1 victory. Freshman phenom Caitlin Oxley secured all 5 innings on the mound and allowed only 3 hits. She now boasts a 2.08 ERA on the season. From the home dugout, outfielder Kendra Falby made 2 hits, marking her 100th multi-hit game. As for the weekend, the Gator faced number 10 LSU on the road on Saturday. Just like the Gators and Buchholz ice out their competition, the Tampa Bay Lightning and Florida Panthers hit the ice tonight at 6:30 in their bid for the Stanley Cup. The Bolts hope to strike back and tie the series 1-1 in their territory. Time's up for sports, but stick with us after the break for the weather.
Feeling very summer-like with highs near 90 degrees over the next 3 days. Showers and thunderstorms creep back into the forecast late into the weekend into early next week, but the heat that ramps up as well. Highs will be in the mid-90s midweek.
Thank you so much, William. And it is my last broadcast here at WUFT as I am graduating this semester. I wanted to thank all of you at home for watching. It has been such an honor and a privilege to serve the North Central Florida community.
It's been such an honor working with you, Shelby, so thank you for all that you do, and thank you for tuning in. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of WFT's First at 5. But your North Central Florida news is always on at WFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.